Today I'm 38 years old, and I would like to share with you some things that I've learned that I believe will be helpful for you on your journey of life. I am a fool, I don't know much, but there's some things that I do believe I know to be true and I know to be the best thing for us as human beings. For one, in this first world, quote unquote, first world civilization that is called America and other countries, you have the opportunity to seek a kind of stability for your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health. There is ample opportunity for it, although we don't take it because we are constantly trying to ingratiate, assimilate, keep up with the Joneses. We are distracted. There's just so much noise and so much pollution. So you don't realize how much your health actually matters. A lot of people care about fitness for vanity, and I'm not mad at that. When I was 19 years old, my main interest in health was for vanity's sake. I wanted to look better, to get more women. That's all I cared about. That's all I cared about. However, that superficial, shallow interest transferred to a genuine, wholesome interest where it was no longer about my appearance. I don't give a shit. It's no longer about getting women. It's about my well being. It's about my well being. It's about my well being. So many people have complaints. They have back aches, knee aches, body aches, stomach aches, all kind of aches and pains. A pursuit of health through trial and error will bring you that kind of goodness that you are looking for. And so many times, what I find that people are looking for, though, is that silver bullet. What's the one thing I can do? Do you know how many times when I've talked with people about health, they've always said, okay, so you're a vegan. Oh, you're health conscious, you're a vegan. So many times, countless times. And that's because everyone has this association that healthiness is only attained through veganism. No, healthiness is more so attained, it's often attained a lot through subtraction. It's about timing. It's about every factor, honestly. It's about everything. So I would definitely encourage you. It's never too late. It's never too late to get on the health train, and don't get on the health train for other people. Don't get on the health train for the sake of weight. Don't get on the health train to impress. Get on the health train for your well-being. And I know that's easier said than done. And if you're superficially shallow, materialistically, whatever, if you're motivated for all the quote unquote wrong reasons, I'm not mad at that either. However, you get your health is however you get your health. Second thing that I've learned in this thing called life, called existence, is that I know to be true and beneficial is a pursuit and a commitment towards being your authentic self. This comes through tremendous amounts of trial and error. You will constantly notice and observe yourself being quote unquote fake or artificial. And it's often for the sake of that, again, I'm gonna say it's constantly ingratiation, assimilation, or quote unquote professionalism. And or just because you don't want to cause some kind of conflict or whatever, because oftentimes our authentic selves can be hostile towards that which is in front of us. But a commitment to your authentic self, and everything needs to be defined. What I described as authenticity, I suppose, is just an honest expression of whatever you are and whoever it is that you may be. And is it true that who you honestly express yourself to be might be someone that is an asshole, might be somebody that is unhealthy? That is good, because now if you can admit to yourself and you can see, oh wait, I'm kind of unhealthy. Oh wait, I'm kind of an asshole. I'm kind of toxic. Fantastic. You don't need to be toxic for a moment longer. You can now change. You can now become a better person. Now here's the issue. Here's the other thing that I've learned. Quality people matter so much. Oh my God, the people in your life matter so much. So many people want people in there for quantity's sake. You want friends and you want other people and family and all this stuff. People like to be around people for the sake of it. I'm not mad at that. I am definitely an introvert by proclivity, meaning that I recharge from not being around people. However, when I am around people, I can be energized and I can be uplifted if we are having vulnerable, authentic discussion. Because if we're not talking about what matters, then what is the point? Don't just distract yourself up until years and years. I don't have the reason why I had my existential crisis at 25. I had a quarter life crisis, and I realized I reflected upon my mortality and death and everything because there were some traumatic instances that occurred in my life. There was a Hurricane Katrina, and it didn't necessarily affect me as much as it affected, like, my family stuff. But I'm saying the reason why I say this because Hurricane Katrina, when I lost my home and had to move in all this and that, it was an adventure to my young mind. I had a sense of invincibility. I didn't really care. However, I will say what I realized was that New Orleans, my upbringing in New Orleans did have a kind of a specialness to it that I didn't appreciate. And I didn't realize that there was such a sense of community in my upbringing until I lived in other places and realized, oh wow, everybody else isn't as charming, isn't as colorful, isn't as like New Orleans had its flaws. Don't get me wrong, it had its flaws, but there was a lot of strengths and a lot of beauty to it. And uh, but my point, what was my point? That's right. I was talking about traumatic instances. So Hurricane Katrina happened, right? And that made me realize I was very materialistic in my early 20s, and that put a light bulb over my head, like, oh, okay, all my belongings and everything that I own materially can be taken away from me in just a blink of an eye. And so I was like, okay, let me not care about shit so much. So I stopped caring about clothes. I stopped caring about shoes. And then my best friend, his significant other, passed away at the age of 25 abruptly. All of a sudden, they come from a trip, and then she is complaining about pain in her abdomen, and eventually it turns out she had cancer, and then she died. And then I'm very close to my best friend. And I knew her, and that was surreal for me. That. And it might sound like a joke to many people who've had all kinds of tragedy and trauma in their life because, obviously people die, right? Like, the people die untimely, people die just arbitrarily and randomly, and it happens, and it's unfortunate. But for my just very fortunate mind, it was a wake-up call to like, right, because she was 25 years old, beautiful, sweet, nice woman, nice young lady, and she died, and it just showed me the unfairness of life. Now, this is what people get wrong when they talk about unfairness. You can look at the unfairness of existence, and I went through this, and my brother from another went through this as well. You can look at the unfairness of existence and just like shake your fist, and then just like kind of resent it all and not enjoy anything, or you can look at the unfairness and acknowledge it for what it is, because it's there whether you believe in it or not. The unfairness of existence, the misfortune of existence, the tragedy of existence, whether you want to acknowledge that it's there or not, it's gonna happen. And so it's better to acknowledge that. I think reflect on death as soon as possible. Reflect on your own mortality, your own fragility as soon as possible. Because what it does is it propels you to take those risks with people. A lot of people, and this goes into the next part of what I realized. So many people, when it comes to love, don't take risks. I was just telling a young lady this recently, like, take a risk. Fuck it. It may not work out with this gentleman. It might not. You might learn that he just wanted to have sex with you and nothing else. And or he may fucking be in love with you. You don't know until you know. You don't know until you take that risk, until you go on the limb. What I see is just so much self-consciousness, especially from young people. One thing that I'm grateful for growing up in New Orleans was the culture where I was forced to go out of my comfort zone from a young age. I wasn't naturally, I was crazy and rambunctious as a kid, but when it came to approaching girls, every single time, I was so nervous that it hurt. I was so nervous that I wanted it and got rejected. It didn't matter because so many times you get accepted. It was exhilarating. I look back and I'm so grateful that I engaged in that exercise of approaching and seeing what was up, succeeding or failing. It didn't matter. It was, when I look back on all those rejections, I'm proud more so of my even attempt to do it. And again, there's many successes that come with that. But my point is, everybody's so scared of being hurt. You're gonna get hurt whether you like it or not. Even if you have the most safe life possible, when you are fucking old and you look back on life, you're gonna regret not taking risks that weren't gonna harm you at all. The only thing that were gonna harm is your illusion of superiority, your illusion and delusion of grandiosity. You ain't shit, I ain't shit. It's okay. We're here and gone in the blink of an eye. I'm not mad at getting older. A lot of people, like, oh, I'm 30 forever. I don't give a fuck. I'll be proud when I'm 50. I'll be proud when I'm 60. I'll be proud when I'm 70. Health, authenticity, and take some risks. And that's all I got to say.